This is West Ham Unofficial. Come on, your eyes. For the first time this season, these two should be smiling, and I shouldn't be smiling at the weekend's results. Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are all well. Yes, we're back for the Premier League Roundup show with Shaun and Josh for another week. For once on Saturday, not bragging about a West Ham win. Let's start off. Josh, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. A lot happier than I've been the last couple of shows.
There you go. And Shaun, how are you?
Yeah, good. Can't complain.
Yeah, well, you can't complain, that is for sure. Let's head into chat. Joshua, I hope you are well. Pete, I hope you are well as well. Right, without further ado, let's get cracking, and we will start with this game, and we'll come to you, Shaun. Leicester 0, Chelsea 3.
Yeah, this was the lunchtime game yesterday, wasn't it? One.
Yeah.
I think we all knew that Chelsea would be up there at the end of the season, but I think it's quite clear now if you're going to finish above Chelsea, you're probably going to win it. But they just don't have any weak areas. You look at them, I think they've got Lukaku out at the moment, so they didn't really have a striker last season as such. But he brought Lukaku in. He's done okay when he's come in, but I don't think they need him. I think where they're good, they played the back three, don't they? So that these Reece James and Chilwell, they just bomb on, and I think they both got 3 or 4 goals each this season as well. It's just a threat from everywhere, and I think that the form that Leicester are in is quite iffy. They almost look like a side that I just wonder if Rodgers has took them as far as he can. Do you know what I mean? They sort of reach this sort of point.
Yeah.
They're not a bad side, but if they lose one due to injury, Vardy's was he 34, 35 now, something like that.
Yeah.
Do you know? Slowly gets to a point. Like I am a fan of Harvey Barnes, but he couldn't get in the game. I think he came off at half time. And Maddison's been I think he came on for Barnes yesterday. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think Leicester probably most people shout for 5th place, weren't they? Again, the first bottle job side just helped the Champions League, but I think they're just fizzling at the moment. I don't know where they're going to go. But yeah, it's a great win for Chelsea. They're a bit of a juggernaut, aren't they? I think they drew the week before, didn't they? Did they draw Burnley something the week before or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, but they might. I think I've said a few times they're not necessarily going to win every game, but they're going to be hard to beat. If they don't find the back of the net, and you've got to get past a world-class keeper, Silver at the back, he's knocking on, but he's still got it for the league.
Yeah.
And I think they've got about 5 centre-backs, and whoever they bring in, they can bring in Chalobah, they've got Rudiger, and they sort of switch out a little bit. But whoever comes in, there's not a weak area. And obviously you've got Kante in the midfield who does the running for 2 men. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Chelsea just seem to be, they just keep on going, and they're doing their business quietly. If you like, everybody's talking about Man United, Liverpool, and whatsoever, and people aren't really talking about. Hang on, they're 3 points, 3 points clear at the top here, Chelsea, and they just seem to just keep on going on with their business. But the big question is there any drinks lined up tonight, Shaun?
Pint of water tonight. That's all I've got.
Disappointing after last week.
Back to reality with a bump.
Back to reality with a bump. There we go. Josh, over to you with an entertaining game, I think it's fair to say. Eddie Howe taking charge of his first game for Newcastle, but he didn't take charge.
Yeah. I think he was instructing virtually. That's probably how they'd have it nowadays without mad technology's gone. He's probably had a screen on the side and he was shouting orders at them. But no, he weren't there. Which was disappointing for Newcastle fans. I think they just really want to get a good manager other than Bruce in now. Well, I say other than Bruce. Bruce wasn't a good manager. I mean, a good manager better than Bruce in now. But yeah, it was a really mad game. I think Newcastle. I can't remember. Newcastle took the lead, and then Tony scores, and then Brentford made it 2-1, then 2-2, 3-2 to Brentford, 3-3 again. So yeah, it was a really entertaining game. Newcastle aren't usually the team who go for it and scored a load of goals. But yeah, fair play to them. They actually went for it, Newcastle, yesterday for once. And I think it happens when you have a new manager. They must have all been up for it, trying to impress and none of them want to lose the places. And I think that's why they managed to get a point. As for Brentford, I don't think they've won in about 3 or 4 games at least now. They're on a bit of a struggling patch of form. They had a really good start to the season, not like they were unbeatable, and since then they haven't won. They lost to Norwich the other week, and a few losses before that. They've been poor recently. But yeah, that was, I wouldn't say it's a good result for them. Newcastle have probably been the worst team in the league this season. They probably would have went into that game when they saw Eddie Howe couldn't be there. That they could have won that game, and maybe they should have. I thought they should have with the chances they had. But yeah, Newcastle, I think just about the game might deserve to, because they also had a few chances as well. But yeah, I think definitely 2 teams are going to struggle this season. Newcastle, think they are going to struggle. They're not going to go mad and spend it all of the money in January. And Brentford, they have a good team spirit, but the quality in the squad isn't too good. Tony is probably the only player who can, or Bermo's all right. Like all the others were championship players. But I think because of the team spirit, I think they will stay up. They'll be fine. But I think they're still going to struggle. But yeah, I think draw was fair result in the end.
Newcastle are in deep doggy poo. They certainly are. Grandad, I hope Brentford will be okay next week as they play Everton. I can't lie, Everton are having a bit of a mare at the moment. They are having a bit of a mare. But let's go over to you, Shaun, with another 3-3. See, these 2 games you wouldn't have thought would be 3-3. Would anybody have ever imagined Burnley v Crystal Palace being 3-3, Shaun?
You don't very often think classic for Burnley ever, do you?
No.
I don't think there's been not many standouts there. To be honest, I've been impressed with Palace most of the season. I was at home when these goals were going in. I had a job to keep up with these ones, but yeah, I think it's typical of Burnley. I think they're still down the bottom a bit, aren't they? But they're slowly starting to pick up the odd draw here, the odd grind out. Like we said, I'm pretty sure they drew with Chelsea last week or the week before. And if it wasn't at Burnley, I'd have probably said Palace would win, because I think, well, if you score 3 goals, it should be enough to win a game. But I actually, I can't remember. I don't think I tipped Burnley to go down. I don't know if Josh did or not, but you just know he's always going to drag them up. And I think he has even just signed like a new contract. I think he's signed another 4-year extension, which is quite miraculous, really. When he was getting linked to a lot of big jobs on Nick Dyche, but I think you can sometimes be at a club a bit too long, and next thing it's like it's sort of his stock goes down, because you think, is he going to take the job? Like you might have heard surprising to linked to someone like a West Ham job in the past, or an Everton, that sort of level of job. But now he just doesn't seem to want to leave. He's happy with just where he is, and yeah, I think he'll keep them up. They'll probably stay up by a couple of points. Palace, like I said, I think we said last week, let's keep an eye on where Vieira ends up, because he's got them playing good stuff. He won't be happy with them letting in 3 goals, but yeah, Burnley fans might got their money's worth out of this one. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, definitely. Let's head into the chat. Dice gonna get United up. But next game now, Josh, when we were talking about who's gonna manage Aston Villa next, we sat on there a couple of weeks ago. You said Steven Gerrard. Me and Shaun went, nah, he won't go. he won't go to Villa. And then, a couple of days later, it happened. Steven Gerrard is the new Aston Villa manager, and he's got off to winning ways.
Yeah, I wasn't blown away when he was in, but I think I was happy in the end with some of his press conferences. He said all the right things, and I think, but this is what I mean. It's not like he's not the manager like the only thing was he hasn't proven himself in the Premier League yet. He's only managed Rangers, but if you're like a 23-year-old, 22-year-old at Villa, and Steven Gerrard is your manager, if that's not motivation for you, I don't know what is, because when they were young kids, that would have been there. He would have been like one of the best players in the world when they were kids. So for him to be their manager, surely that will motivate them a bit, and I think that might be what's going to do us well, because all the players will be motivated and want to impress him. And that's why I think we got the 3 points. I thought it was, obviously I couldn't watch the game, it was a 3 o'clock game and I wasn't there. But it sounded like a bit of a cagey game until the goals. I know Brighton had a good start, Martinez to make a few big saves. Then we had the header from the corner, which their goalie had to make a good save from. And since then, absolutely nothing happened until our goal. It was like really cagey. And Watkins' goal, it was really good. He cut into Gerrard moving to the wing for this game, which I think is better because Watkins and Ings, I don't think they work up front together. So, he moved into the wing, he cut in, and it was a great finish right into the top corner. And then Mings' goal, it was a great finish considering his defender on his weaker foot. 2 really good goals. And I think there was a couple of chances in the first 10 minutes, and then since then nothing happened until the goals. So it was really cagey, but I didn't care how the performance, as long as we won that game. We just really needed it. We have Palace next week. Probably need at least a point out with Axe. Then we have really tough fixtures. We have like Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea. So yeah, it's going to be really tough. But I'm really happy that you got appointed in the end, and I think he should do well for us. But yeah, that first win was massive, and I think overall we deserved it in the end, even though not much happened until the goals. But I think Watkins on the wing, it should work, hopefully, because him and Ings, like I said, they don't work up front. I've been disappointed in Ings so far. He's only got about 3 goals, 2 or 3. But it will come, I think, and hopefully if he can pick the right team, then hopefully he can do well for us this season.
Yeah, the roundup show is going to be entertaining for the next month, because all before the end of the year, Aston Villa have got Man City, Liverpool and Chelsea. That's going to be entertaining. Next game, now you've got the pleasure about talking about this. Shaun, you know what's coming. Watford 4, Man United 1. Now, I'm just going to put this picture up on the screen first. Shaun, what is going on at Man United? And what would you make of the sacking?
Well, it was a straw that broke the cat's back, wasn't it? Where do I start? I think I've been said he's nowhere near the level for Man United for a while. But I was thinking this afternoon, about it. We tend to slag off clubs that hire and fire a lot, don't we? And Man U, they've sort of stuck out on it. I know he came second last year and a cup final, but he's looked out of his depth for, I think, a good year, especially in the big games. But they stuck at it, and in a weird way, I can't fault the club for doing it. However, the very, very biggest and top clubs, they don't give managers the sort of, maybe he kept the job on sentiment for too long. It's a fine line. I think Gary Neville's been crying on the telly for ages. Said he wouldn't ever call for his mate to be sacked. Blah blah blah. I don't know. I think you find the top clubs like Barcelona, Real Madrid, Chelsea, and Man City, probably even a Liverpool. I think if it's not good enough for so long, they get rid quick. And a few Man U fans, they've told me before Conte went to Tottenham, they said, I wouldn't want Conte at Man U. And I said, why? Because for me, he was the perfect fit. And all they said back to me was, oh, he's like Mourinho. He's nothing like Mourinho. That's just a total guess. He's not like Mourinho. And it's proof that players love him. So I think what it is, United, the board, I think they want a bit too much power over the coach with like the manager who's coming in, who the signings are. I don't believe Solskjaer had. I don't believe he was. He had been in the chats for some of the players, but I don't believe for a second that he was saying, "I want him, him, and him." United were going out to get the big names that are available. So, who are they going to get to come in? Like, I think the only reason they wouldn't have gone for Conte, all we can think of, is they want someone who hasn't got a big voice. Conte won't stand for the rubbish. He'll tell the board exactly what he thinks. If you don't like it, he'll leave. So it's telling me that United probably want a yes man, and they probably had the biggest yes man we know in Solskjaer. Do you know what I mean? Look at him, he's like a little puppy dog in the dugout. So,
it's hilarious.
But United as well, since Fergie left, because when you're successful for so long, it's you cannot accept not being successful after that. So then you go down a different route of trying to get your team back. It's been unlucky for them. You've had Pep and Klopp come in, who have been like a breath of fresh air or a league, the style of football. I know they both spent a lot of money, but they've also got a brilliant team spirit, both clubs. Do you know what I mean? They are fighting for it. At United, it's come across as Fergie went, their transfer tactic has been like a scattergun. Just chuck they've had hundreds of millions have come and gone. Oh, we'll have 60 million. Let's get Di Maria in. He's not good enough for 80. Then he's gone. Do you know what I mean? Now, look, Varane's available. Let's pay him 300 grand a week. Ronaldo's available again now. He might rest. It's a scattergun approach. So then it's bringing ridiculous wages into the dressing room. You've got massive amounts of egos in there. You don't look at United and look at their team. If you look at their squad list, you don't look at it and think team spirit.
Yeah.
So
it's difficult at Man United because you look and you've got, all of these big names there, and it's just not making a team. And I think the big statement was when Ollie went up to the fans yesterday, and he went like that and he waved, and the statement was Bruno Fernandes signalling blame us, not him. It's difficult because I think he's definitely you'd think he's lost the dressing room, but I mean they were awful. I didn't watch it. I came down into the concourse at half time at Molineux and everybody was singing Ollie's at the wheel and nobody could get any reception, and then we realised that Man United were 2-0 down at half time or whatever. But I don't know. And one thing that did make me laugh, when they finished off the coverage for the Spurs game and they went, right, next week on Sky Sports, they said, and to finish off the week, we got Michael Carrick's Man United taking on whoever. That did make me laugh. Let's take some comments, though, and see what you guys are saying. See, Simon usually puts good evening, but he's put 3 exclamation marks because he knows that Chelsea won by 3 goals and West Ham lost. He's just extra excited. Yes, we have covered the Chelsea game. You were late, Simon. What happened to Wolves? Here come the sarcastic comments. What happened at Wolves? Yeah, we were fairly beaten. What happened at Anfield?
Blimey.
That's a bit brave. I respect it, but it's brave, Arsenal for life. It's brave. Do we have to talk about the West Ham game again? Yeah, well, James, we're talking about it next, so brace yourself. As you've missed the Chelsea game, can I say 9.5 out of 10? Cracking goal from Conte, and he deserved man of the match. Excellent. There we go. I'm sure Gerald will receive a warm welcome when he brings Villa to Goodison. That will be interesting. Kent, I hope you are well. Nice to see you yesterday. Evening, Conte was the man. He's a winner. All good, mate. Still pretty damn fuming from yesterday. Respect you guys for going, but that was shocking. It wasn't great. We are capable of getting results. I'm just thinking 3-5-2/5-3-2 next week. It's going to be difficult because we're going up to Man City off the back of a loss. And do we go up there with our normal 4-2-3-1, or do we go up with a classic David Moyes 5 at the back? I don't know. 4-0, it certainly was. Put that in a couple of times, so I know you're excited. We'll get to it. Don't panic. Evening, Scott, Super Chef. I hope you are well. Pete says Man United problem lies in the team and manager. Too many big wigs and big names. They don't play as a team. I completely agree. Right then, let's get on to the West Ham game. I'll say my piece first before I hand it over to Josh. We weren't great, but one thing I do want to mention first, we went to Villa 2 weeks ago and they were singing Silver Lining coming out, Aston Villa. We went to Wolves and they sang exactly the same thing. Hang on. Josh, what is going on? 20 minutes apart, you're singing the same song coming out. What's going on?
A load of teams sing it. Sheffield Wednesday used to sing it, I know that. A lot of teams sing it. I don't know how you haven't saw it before at a match.
No, haven't seen it at all, and then see it twice in 2 weeks with like rivals that are 20 minutes apart. I just couldn't understand it. But fair play to Wolves, they brought an atmosphere more than Aston Villa did, I'm afraid, Josh.
Yeah, we were awful in that our atmosphere in that game. I watched it on telly. When we scored, we were all right, but since then we weren't that great. I don't think this season our atmosphere it's been quite good. Apart from that game, I thought the Everton game is just rocking, but games like that, it's just a bit of toxic place, Villa Park, I think.
Yeah. Well, Wolves won, West Ham nil. Not fantastic from the Hammers. That's probably the worst performance of the season from us. But a lot of players have travelled a hell of a lot of miles in the last week for international duty, especially Mikel Antonio. We just looked flat and we just ran out of ideas after the 20th minute. And after the 20th minute, we didn't pose a threat. And Wolves dictated and played the game how they wanted to play the game. They bored us and they pounced for a good goal from Raul Jimenez. If it weren't for Fabianski, it would have been 2 or 3. But yeah, disappointing, but the crucial moment is next week at Man City. If we go up there and get humiliated, that won't be ideal. But I do believe we can go up there and you know, I think we'd all take a point now, but just a good performance would do, I think. But Josh, from a neutral perspective, Wolves won, West Ham nil. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I've watched it on Match of the Day. I thought Wolves dominated pretty much the whole game. It could have been, you said it could have been 2 or 3. I thought it could have been more if all the shots that they would have went in. I know the Jimenez chip that it should have been, that almost went in. We had a few really good long ranges as well. The forced good saves off Fabianski. Like you said, if it went for him, he probably would have got battered. But Wolves have created a lot of chances this season, but just can't seem to score. But obviously against us, they get 3 chances and they all go in. But apart from that, I think Wolves have struggled to score goals this season. But this game, they got one. They got one. That's all they needed in the end because you weren't too good, to be honest. I don't think I come on. I watch Match today, but I come in late. It was like midway through the Wolves West Ham match, and it didn't show any chances. It didn't show any chances for you. So yeah, it wasn't have been great. I don't think. But better from Wolves. I think they're knocking on the door for top 6 now. They had an awful start to the season. And then Mugabe Agbonlor said they could be contender for relegation this season, but since then they've really picked up, and that was a good performance from them.
Yeah, we thought we did take the lead early on in the first half, but you saw it straight away. Zuma nodded it in, and the linesman had his flag up for a foul. To be honest, I haven't even had a chance to watch it back, but apparently it was a big push on the keeper from Antonio, which is another annoying part of his performance. If he wouldn't have pushed him, the keeper might have got there, but it would have been 1-0 to West Ham at that point. Shocking performance. £100,000 jet for Antonio. Think his talent got lost in the Bermuda Triangle. Must have done. Pete says, let's be fair, West Ham were very poor yesterday. Looking on the bright side, we only lost by 1 goal and Wolves were very good on the day. Also, we had a disallowed goal, should have finished a draw. Yeah. Haven't seen it back, but a lot of people saying that it was the right decision. But yeah, a positive is it was only 1 goal and we managed to absorb the pressure, and our defence handled with the Wolves attack reasonably well. Adama Traore came on, he didn't really do much. He ran at us a few times, but it came to nothing. But we got ruined by Wolves yesterday. 1-0 doesn't reflect the game. We could have lost by 3. Kent says Wolves have more intensity, move the ball quicker, so much better they got their distances right. Antonio was awful. The international break has ruined your momentum. It certainly has. WHU58, yes, spot on, Jake, with the Wolves game assessment. I just hope Moyes considers resting international duty players coming back to the Premiership. The highlight was the game was god awful, but the highlight was there was loads of stewards down the side, and one was eating a pie, so he ate all the pies, something, he ate all the pies. That was the highlight of the game. But let's move on. What have we got next? Shaun, Norwich 2, Southampton 1.
Yeah, another new manager's first game this time, wasn't it? Well, yeah, there was that 2 wins. We've slated Norwich week in, week out, haven't we? But what's it, 2 wins now they've got? 2 wins and a draw. Is it 7 points they're on, something like that? Well, yeah, I still think they'll go down, but obviously got a new manager in. Bit like, was it 3 managers yesterday making their first games of the new club? Was it? Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know if you count the Newcastle one in the end. I'm not sure.
Well, I don't know.
Yes, great result, and I'm sure I could be wrong. I hear Walcott on the radio. Did was it Southampton beat the Villa in his last game when he was there? Was that right, or something like that? They were on about thinking they'd have an advantage because they played the same manager recently. Well, obviously not, because they lost. But yeah, Southampton, as I said before, they're sort of like got a soft spot for him because they've got a little link down there with like a good family friend. But I don't know. Are Norwich going to go on a run and stay up? I even question whether they want to stay up half the time. I know they've gone for it and pulled the plug on the manager this time, but it'd be interesting to see what Norwich do, because they've got some good players there. They've always tried to play nice football. They're not like one of these boring, aggressive sides that come up. They try and play. We've always said they've got a bit of a soft underbelly. I don't know. I haven't got their fixtures in front of me. They've got coming up, but I think we said before, the teams that are down the bottom, they'll be earmarking the games where I think, right, we've got a chance of winning that. That's where we're going to nick our points. And that would have been a game where Norwich would have looked at and said, right, home game to Southampton, we've got to try and win that one. And they did. So that's the sort of games they pick it up. They've got it. Like I said, I don't know who they've got next, but it's always interesting to look at a club when they get a new manager in, because a lot of them have that initial sort of lift, don't they? And they go on a mini run. They might get 2 or 3 good results. So let's see what they do. Let's see what they do.
Yeah, definitely interesting. It is going to be interesting. I just want to address this. Craig Dawson was poor also. I think, I like Craig Dawson, but putting that to the side, I don't think he was that bad. I don't think he was any worse than Kurt Zuma. Maybe a tad, but Kurt Zuma was a little bit shaky at times. I didn't see, everybody gave the ball away a couple of times yesterday. Craig Dawson didn't really stick out to me as being that bad, but that is just my opinion. Right then, you're going to enjoy doing this one next. Liverpool 4, Arsenal 0. And I smiled at this every time they went to the radio and they went to this game, because I wanted Arsenal to get thumped, and they did, Josh.
Yeah. Just before I talk about this, can I just do a little bit about Dean Smith going to Norwich just for a second?
Go on.
I didn't think he'd go. I thought he'd definitely take some time out first. And I certainly didn't think he'd get that job. He goes to them. I thought he'd have to go back to the Championship and try and get another team promoted and start again. Not like Lampard was all set to go to Norwich last week, and then that fell through. I think he might have had a last minute change of heart, and he might have never wanted the job. I don't know. But yeah, I think, I like Shaun said, I still don't think to stay up, but this is the thing. We were about 9 points off with about 4 games to go, 9 points off safety the other year, and he kept us up. So if he can do it with us, then maybe he can do it with them. Like, they haven't got a terrible squad, because normally Norwich every summer they just go out and buy 1 or 2 players on loan maybe, or if they do buy a player, it's about 5 million Championship player. But this season they've tried something different. They've bought about 10 players in, and they're not terrible either. Like Mila Rashica, Odiav, I remember he was linked with Villa when Smith was at Villa. So that's good that he's got him, because he wanted him at Villa. I think he has the players there. I'm not sure if he'll do it, but I do believe that there's a chance, because he kept Villa up. And I think it's a good move for him. He's still in the Premier League. If he keep them up, then fair play to him. I hope he does. I still think it was harsh that we sacked him, but yeah, I do hope we can keep them up. But I'll move on to the game that I should be talking about. So, yeah, I didn't watch it, but I thought, well, I watched bits, but yeah, I thought Liverpool, they just play really well, didn't they? Ramsdale was a bit inconsistent, I thought, when I saw the highlights. The first save, they were all saying it was a great save, but I thought he spilt it a bit for the first save, but the second save was good. And then the first goal, he definitely should have done better for. I think he got a hand to it, didn't keep it out, and then I thought he definitely should have done better for that. Apart from that, he did have quite a good game, Ramsdale, but I think he's a really good goalie, but I just think it's one of them who has a mistake in him, a bit like Pickford, definitely got a mistake in him. But yeah, Liverpool were just ruthless. That Jota goal was unbelievable, where he took it around the player and ran Ramsdale. That was unbelievable. Just got the quality of the squad is just unbelievable. They have Salaman and Firmino, if one of them injured, just bring Jota in. He's just unbelievable as well, like we saw for that goal. Just ruthless Arsenal. Don't think they had one chance in the end. There weren't any. They didn't have one chance weren't any chance for them on the highlights package. So it's just awful, really. And very good win for Liverpool in the end. Dominated. I think they might win the league this season.
Yeah, they just look levels above Arsenal, and I expected it, to be honest with you. A couple more comments before we leave the West Ham part. Kent says we miss Oggy massively because his passing beats the press a lot. He plays the ball into midfield well. Dawson for me was always looking for big diagonal balls. I think. Yeah, three at the back next week. I think he could go with that with Dawson, Diop, and Kurt Zuma. I think he could go with that. But honestly, Spurs are so jammy, Shaun. Spurs were very good in the second half of that game, but up steps Eric Dyer for a free kick. I think now this is going to the Emirates. This is what's he doing? It's the post. Reguilón's there, so jammy.
You obviously can't remember Eric Dyer scoring for England in the Euros a few years ago. Whoa, start. Well, again, a bit of a strange week for Conte, really, because his first full week training, then he loses half the team to international break. And it has come out, even said after the game, that he's near enough killed the team, how hard he's trained them in the training ground. And I think I expect this to come out a lot faster. I think the first half, we were quite poor. I thought Leeds weren't very good either, to be quite honest. But, Leeds, they're more of a running team than a football team, aren't they? So, the first half was poor. Tottenham even got booed off. They let them know it's not good enough. Whatever Conte did in the halftime team talk, they looked totally different size second half. Tottenham, I think they played further forward. Leeds were missing 5. I think they're missing 5 players today. Tottenham were missing 2 of their key players. But the second half, much, much better from Tottenham. It was actually an important game for both sides because Tottenham were near the top, but around Tottenham, I think yourself, Man U, Arsenal lost. So getting the 3 point lifted us up about 4 places. And for Leeds down the bottom, I think I heard it before the game today, the 3 teams below them and the 3 teams above them all picked up points. And a few of them drew.
Yeah.
Another defeat for Leeds. Definitely positive signs. I love the passion Conte shows on the sideline. He's like rallying the team, rallying the fans. You can't help like that. That's what you want to see. After the game, he couldn't have given him a bigger high five if you try, almost like an angry, passionate high five to everyone. There's a lot of work to be done. They're far from the finished article. They're a long way off it. But today, on the kilometres ran, Spurs outrun Leeds. Now, nearly every single week of the football season, Leeds run more than anyone. They are number 1 out the 20 sides for distance travelled, and Tottenham outran them today. So that's positive. I always like to have a little dig at Bielsa, so I'm gonna sneak one in. I know they had a lot of players missing, but he's a strange manager. There are a few out. Rafinha was out. They've still got Bamford out, Mr. Rodrigo up front, but they've still got Phillips. He's by far their best player. Yeah. So what did Bielsa decide to do? Put him in defence, tell him the man mark Harry Kane. they interviewed Phillips after. He said it was announced in I think it was the Leeds Echo, Yorkshire Echo, or something. Phillips actually announced that a couple of days ago. That was his job for this weekend. Yeah. And after the game in the interview, they said to him, "What did you think of your manager's decision to put you in the back of Mark Kane?" And he almost chuckled and he sort of said, "Well, I was a bit surprised." Do you know what I mean? So with so many players out, you want your best midfielder who's got a good engine. You want him in the middle of the park to try and get hold of the ball and dictate it. He sort of did a job on Kane a little bit. I thought Kane was quite good today. He's very physical, got stuck in. But you're just not many teams ever mark Harry Kane. In fact, you don't many teams man mark a certain player nowadays. Not really. You just worry about the team as a unit. But for him to put his best player, who's a midfielder, to man mark the striker, playing him out of position, Phillips barely, on an attacking sense, barely even got involved because he had to worry about Kane. It's just strange. And again, typical Bielsa, second half, Tottenham come out far better than Leeds second half. Bielsa still didn't change nothing. For 90 minutes, he had Phillips man marking Harry Kane. It's almost like an obsession, right? We're going to make sure Kane doesn't score today. Do you know what I mean?
At all costs. It was like you saw Phillips there. It was like, we're not going to let Harry Kane score at all costs.
He's just strange, but it is exciting times of Conte. I'm not going to lie. I did say I would take a draw today, to be honest. I thought it would be a slow burner, building up to pace. But like Josh just said, the Villa have got like a tough run of games. I think Arsenal fans have got a bit carried away because Coventry went, was it 4 wins in a row, two draws? They've played absolute rubbish sides. Yeah. The worst Tottenham set up in years. And after that, they just beat all the rubbish. Play a good side, they get embarrassed at Anfield. Okay? Yeah. So these teams, you can get these little runs together. And Tottenham have actually got that coming up. I think we got Burnley. Everyone was impressed with Brighton for a little bit of the season. Or they just said on the telly earlier, they haven't won for 7 games now.
Yeah.
So we got them coming up. And I think, look, West Ham, I think you've got like Man City and Chelsea.
We've got Vienna. Is it Vienna? Oh, I forgot. We've got Europa League, and then I've got the fixtures there. We've then got, in the space of 7 days, we've got Man City away, Brighton at home. Brighton are our bogey team, and Chelsea at home. So it's a big week and a half for us now.
So what I'm saying is the pack around. Well, you could say there's a few clubs going for the 4th spot realistically. Okay,
yeah.
But you got West Ham now, 4 or 5 ahead of Spurs. That many?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Come Christmas, I'd probably say that might be a little bit closer. I can only see Tottenham getting better. I think there's a likelihood Tottenham will do not necessarily more business than most in January. I think they'll do better business because they've got good contacts. The director for Paratiki, he will know who's around, who you can get a deal with. So I still think they'll fall short for 4th this year for Tottenham, but I wouldn't like to call who's going to get it either. United's got the quality, but do you know what I mean? You don't know what they're going to do. But yeah, it's going to. Yeah, I see Ken Hammer saying, "Way Conte celebrate." He should celebrate. That's what you want. He should. You want him, your manager, to celebrate like it's the cup final. It's his first win. As you know, the fans have been a bit downbeat. It's been a bit of a. Hasn't been a happy stadium many times in about 18 months. So yeah, we get a manager coming with a lot of passion. I want him to celebrate like it's a cup final. I want him punching every player who comes on the field. I want him slapping some faces in the dressing room. That's
Let's take some of those questions. Yeah, I agree. Calvin Phillips has played centre back before. He almost played sweeper when he wasn't on Kane's toes. Yeah, it was a little bit strange, that's for sure. Let's have a look at this here. Jakey's dusting his wallet off ready for Shaun's breakfast on Saturday.
Sweet.
Yeah. Right, final game. Grandad's Everton got slapped by Man City 3-0, Josh.
Yeah, my granddad messaged me after the game and just said we got battered today, and I think that's the best way of putting it. They did just get battered, basically. Everton, I can't think of any clear-cut chances that they had whatsoever. Damari Gray had to go off injured. Grandad said they've already had a lot of injuries. Calvert-Lewin, I think, is still out. Decore, and then Gray went down in that game. So I think that's affecting them. I think Decore, they don't really realise how important Decore is. I think he's a very, very underrated player. Whenever he goes off the team, since he's gone off the team, they've just lost every game. So I think, yeah, well, they haven't lost to drawn to Spurs, and that was it. I can't remember last time they'd won. For Spurs, I was at the match with my granddad, like I said, the week. I thought they played quite well in the Spurs game, and they played a bit more of a fight. I think Rafa must have said something to them, but then in this game, I know it's Man City, don't expect it to be good, but you still expect them to put up a bit of a fight, but they just didn't. And they got dominated. There was a penalty shout for Sterling in the first. I don't know when it was, but it was early in the match. I did see it. It was, when I saw it at the time, I thought it was a penalty. And I saw it back in the replay, and I wasn't sure. Didn't give it in the end, but it didn't matter because they still lost 3-0. But we have them in a few weeks anyway, so I can't really say. And I think Grealish coming back to his old team, I imagine he's going to get a bit of abuse. But yeah, can't really say anything. We're playing him in a few weeks, but yeah, they just got dominated really. Delphi was brilliant against Spurs, best player. He was just awful against his old club today. And I think all of them were, to be honest, just missing the best players really.
Yeah, well, Man City, they are impressive at the end of the day. They don't give backs keepers any time. They're both there. They're bringing on fantastic talents off the bench, in the last few minutes, and yeah, they have got everything pretty much. I think Kane looked a threat in the last 30. Wrong comment. Kane looked a threat in the last 30 minutes. Over £500 million, I think, is spent since new ownership at Everton, and there's no further forward. They were poor today. Coupled with Watford result, Everton need a couple of results soon. Yeah, they do. They are, they've got Calvert-Lewin out, and they've got looks like Damari Gray out as well. So yeah, not looking good for them. I think our next home game is against Liverpool, so that should be easy. It's not looking good for Everton in this moment of time, and I think Richarlison's now banned for a game as well because he got his 5th yellow card. So everything's going downhill for Everton currently. But let's do a quick recap. Leicester 0, Chelsea 3, Newcastle 3, Brentford 3, Burnley 3, Crystal Palace 3, Aston Villa 2, Brighton 0, Watford 4, Man United 1, Wolves 1 and West Ham 0, Norwich 2, Southampton 1, Liverpool 4, Arsenal 0, Spurs 2, Leeds 1, and Man City 3, Everton 0. Shaun, any final thoughts from this weekend's round of results?
No thoughts. Well, Tottenham are back again. I'm going to ask you a question, Jake. If I'm going to ask you now, bearing in mind what you know about Tottenham and West Ham already, who's going to finish higher this season?
We've got a very big month ahead of both sides, I think. We've got an international break. I think there's a game on New Year's Day, and then there's an international break. It will be easier to answer that question then, I think, because it's a big month for both sides.
We're playing the weeks as well.
We do, yeah. I don't know. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, Tottenham will finish above us. I've got to say West Ham will finish above Tottenham. I don't know. It's a big transfer window for both sides. If we can get Lingard over the line and a left back and a striker, I think we're looking good. But if you can get some decent signings over the line. So I heard Romero come back from international duty injured. So that's not fantastic for you. So that brings Eric Dyer back into the side.
Today, Eric, he's having a good season. In the back three, I think, who is it? One of these pundits always says, if you play a back three, it means your centre backs aren't trusted enough. But Conte likes the back three. And you're right, Romero is our best. And today he gave Japhet Tanganga the nod ahead of him. Then he made not a random sub, but he brought on Sanchez on the hour. He wasn't injured. He just did like a like-for-like swap, kept it fresh. Yeah, I don't know. I think they'll be I think they'll be on top of each other a little bit, West Ham and Spurs. Put it that way.
They'll be. I don't see it being resounding one or the other. I can see a couple of points being in it at the most. But of course, we play each other a month to this day, I think it is, on the 22nd. A month tomorrow, 22nd of November, I believe it is. 22nd of December is the game. So actually, be fun. 6,000 West Ham fans making some noise.
Gonna go?
No. No, can't get tickets. It's like gold dust trying to get tickets for that, and we've got 6,000. But we've got Arsenal and Spurs within a week, so North London will be claret and blue after that week, as well as East London and the rest of London. But Josh, any final thoughts?
There was definitely a lot of goals this week, a lot of unexpected goals in a few games. But I'm happy because we won, and we needed that. So that's all really matters. I don't really care about any other teams as long as we won.
Savage, Josh. I don't care about anybody else. Villa won, and I am happy. Well done, West Ham. I think transfer window is massive. If we can get 3 to 4 players in Moyes, we trust. There we go. Thank you very much for watching on this edition of the Premier League Roundup Show with Shaun and Josh, and of course, moi. Premier League predictions will be back next week. We forgot to do them this week. Apologies. They will be back next week with the current table looking a little bit like this. All 3 of us are currently in the bottom half of the table, but let's try and change that, lads, shall we?
We'll have a go.
Thank you very much for watching. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new around here, and let's all just have a moment for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. See you in the next one, guys.